Alright, so let's do, well, let me get rid of this. Okay, let's go back to our little buddy for part 3 of this workshop. This time we got visuals and audio. I think should be working this time. But so I guess we'll move into animations for this one. You technically don't even need something like this. You can animate on basically any object. But I'm just going to use this guy just because. So obviously, like, if I were to try to move parts, it's not going to actually move the whole thing. Like, it's not going to move like a real person would. So that's where we start adding, oh, whoops, wrong mode. Object mode. And then you go to armature, and there will be bones. You add that, and you get this little thing. Whoops. So this is what allows your skeleton to have some more movement. So I'll go back to the front view. And I'll want to place this somewhere inside the model. So now we got this here. Obviously this doesn't really do much, it's just one bone for the entire armature. So what we're going to do is edit it. I just want to make sure you're following this so far. Okay. So when you go into edit mode, you can click on the little ball points. So what I'm going to do, first I'm going to move this up a little bit. So you can also alter the bone's length and like how far it extends using G, just like you would with any other object. But we can also extrude, oops, like that. So we should probably center this first. So you'll notice we can't see the bone once it's inside the model. So what we can do is there's a little button. Like there's these little options on the side. There's a person, and there's a, oh, didn't mean to click that, and then there's a bone. We can go to the body one, the one that's labeled armature, and there's an option if you scroll down, well, not really scrolling down, but you can see here that says X-ray. If you click this, you will always be able to see the bone, no matter where you're looking at it from. So very helpful for when you want to see what you're doing. Just set it to about here. Also, another thing is if you can change how the bone is presented using these options. I prefer to just stick with this one. This one just makes a lot of sense. But for this, I'm going to go back to extruding. So I made a bone for the neck and a bone for the head. Let me just extend that. This doesn't really matter how big it is. So you can see that we've basically got a body, the neck, and the head all rigged up, but this doesn't do anything yet. So what we can do to test it, go into object mode, and when you select both objects, hit Control and P. So I'll just show you. You select the body, then the bones, Control P, and you'll be given the option to parent the object. And there's this option here for automatic weights. You hit that, and it doesn't look like it did anything, but now we have this. We can go to this option, pose mode, and if I were to grab this bone and start rotating it, oh, whoops, what happened? Okay, so the problem here seems to be the weights are off. So just as we've shown that there's object and edit mode, we have the weight paint option. Ooh, yeah, that's why it's not working. So this will probably fix itself once we add more bones to the rest of the mesh, because it's trying to give every bone some part of the mesh. So based on color, from blue being the least amount of influence to red being the most amount of influence, you can see what each bone is affecting. Also, this doesn't help that we didn't name the bones. It's just bone 1, bone 2. So that doesn't really tell us what's being used. So let's just go back. We'll come back to the weight paint mode. That'll be more important later, once you've actually finished the model. We can go to this little option, the little bone, and once we're in edit mode, you'll notice the name of the bone. So there's bone, bone 1, and bone 2. So here's where you can just give it whatever name you like. I'm gonna name this one body, neck, and then head. Because when you want to be able to move these bones, you want to know which parts you're moving. Otherwise, you're going to get very lost very fast. So then we can just go back to object mode. I'm just going to quickly visit the weight paint section, and you will be able to see, oh whoops. Okay, no, I had it wrong. Whoops. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. The vertex groups. So the vertex groups are essentially like every single vertex is put into a group that when you do the automatic weights, it'll automatically group all together all the vertices that should be affected by the bone. And that's what each color represents. So we can go to wireframe, and each of these vertices has their own color associated with it, where if we wanted to, we can change the influence of it. So like here in the top left, you see this option known as weight. This is just affects what color you make it when you click. So you can see I'm painting with 1, so this just goes as much power as it can. So like, let's just color the whole thing off. It also won't color the other side. I'll show how to do that in a moment. But say if I do that and then move it, you'll notice the red part moves a lot more than everything else. But for now, we'll come back to the weight paint. I just wanted to quickly show that. But let's just finish making all of our bones real fast. That way we can actually mess with the weight paints and have them stick. So what we're going to do is make more bones. You can just add bones however you like. I'm just doing it like this. I'm not caring a lot about symmetry right now. Yeah. Not really much. It's just that like these bones will have an effect on some parts of the body, but theoretically they don't even need to move. Kind of like, yeah, I would be moving like the upper arm and the lower arm, but this probably would not change at all. If anything, it's mainly just to give yourself like less bones to work with. So I guess it's more efficient that way. You just put what bones you need, and what bones you don't need, you just remove them. Because I think you can just delete them.
Yeah, because if you parent those, yeah, see, they're still parented, so
yeah.
They're going to move the central one. It's just like,
yeah, it's just less bones. So if you just don't want to like mess with this, you can just delete it. It's like, oh, I know this is never going to move, so I'll just delete it and not have to deal with it. So we can... Ooh, now here comes the problem I've faced before. I just won't have the body have any movement because I'll show one fix to a problem I've had before once I just finish. I honestly don't remember where the joints are on this. I can check that in a little bit. Actually, what am I doing? I can just... Oh wait, they don't show up here for some reason. Oh well, I'll just assume. Then we can probably delete these bones as well. Except these ones aren't parented. I'll just leave it like that. So just once we have some finished mesh or whatever, we can just reparent it again. Oops. Select the body, select the bones, Control P, and automatic weights. And now your model has some sort of armature. But more than likely, it's not going to work the way we want it to. Oh, and I forgot to name all the bones, so I'm going to do that real fast. So let's go left arm 1, left arm 2, left hand. That is the front, right? Yes, it is. Okay. Right arm 2, right arm 1, right. Oh, I've been messing up this whole time. I've been naming the entire mesh skeleton. I've had the wrong option selected this whole time. So those are correct, these are not. Time to retype that. Whoop-de-doo. Just wondering how it remembered my options. I probably need to rename this one. Left leg 1, leg 2, right leg 1, right leg 2, right leg, no, this is right foot. No, it's left foot. Whoops. Right, okay. Oops, why did I still left this as, oops, click that. Okay. I don't know why I'm typing in all the wrong things. Okay. This is wrong. Okay. now I think everything is correct. So now we got this finished model. We can now go back into the weight paint. And it did not do a very good job. Yeah, this is not. So if we move these bones, it's not gonna. Well, the arms. Okay, no. They named these bones correctly, right? Yeah, this is right hand. I don't know why the grouping is really off for this one. But I guess I can show how to fix all this, because if we try to move it now, there you go. On the armature pose mode, it does not bend exactly the way we want it. But that's mainly because it, oh, this one, yeah, even then the arms are weird. But we can fix this. Weight paint. And this can take a while to fix based on if it does it right or not. Let's start with the head. We have that selected as our last one, weight paint. So now we can see that the head isn't exactly right. It has too much influence on the main body, which doesn't make sense considering if you were to move your head, your body doesn't move with it. So we should fix that. So what we can do is on the weight section, set that to 0. And then you can just start clicking wherever you like to start erasing influence. You can see it has influence all the way down here. Do you have any questions right now, or? Okay, so basically this might be a problem from what I did. So the neck, nothing changes from the neck, but that's because this is the problem of the original model. I realized when we didn't do fuse the neck beforehand, it's each of the vertices. So we're not reaching the vertices. It's just the color reaches all the way down here when we should be painting right here. So in order to reach that, let's see if I remember how to do this well enough. Weight paint. There should be an option down here. Yes, this little box icon here will allow you to, if you click off of that, you'll notice suddenly you can see the other side. And now you can actually paint that. And as I'm going across the neck, the color is changing. Look at the other side. Oh, well, it didn't get it all the way, but with that selected, it also lets you change the color of the other side. Oh, that's coming from the body, whoops. And if you just want to affect more area, underneath the weight section, there's the rat eye option, which is just how big of a brush you want. So let's just make this big so we can get all of this. None of this should be colored from the head. I don't know why it's doing that now, but in fact I can just erase all this and manually paint it in myself. Okay, so now, ooh, it's super bright. Let's reduce our brush size to just get the neck. Okay, so now, oh, okay. I've bumped into this problem a ton of times, and every time I always forget about it. But you'll notice that even though I've painted the entirety of the head to be red, so that means the entire head has full influence from the bone. If I move it, it doesn't work right. But this is because another bone has influence on the head as well. So when they share weights, then it starts to mess up. So let's, more than likely it's going to be like the neck. Yeah, the neck isn't moving, so this doesn't want to move either. So if I were to, just for now, erase everything from the neck. Why do they have effect on the arms? It's so weird. But basically now if I were to rotate it, oh, something still has it. And it's the body. The body also has influence for some reason. I must have not just put the bones correctly and that's why it's messing up. Okay, but now, there we go. Oh, well, still some parts of the neck. But for the most part, the sphere isn't deforming as much. So let's see. I have a feeling a lot more, yeah. Basically everything has their own little hand on this. Maybe I should have tested this with a smaller model. Oh well. So I'm just going through and making sure that none of them have influence on the head for now. And all of these had some grip on it. Okay, let me try it again. Something is still being pulled. As we can see here, it's still being deformed. So we gotta keep looking. Why does the left foot have influence over the right leg? It's not perfect, I know that, the automatic parenting, but I feel like it should be better than that. Oops. Just gonna make this bigger again. So now, maybe the head has too much influence. There's still like a tiny bit somewhere in there. Ooh, and it's super bright just because of the bright red color. There we go. So now you'll notice if let me set it back. If I rotate it, it's not being deformed anymore, it's simply just rotating. Though, probably gonna want, no, it's actually good enough. Not trying to make a ridiculously good model here, just like a test. Now that we got the head done, we're on to the neck. So here, we can just color in right here. This is why it's best not to have those unneeded vertices in your model. So like this should never have been done. I should have just merged it in the first place, but that's fine. I could probably go back and fix it, but I've already started doing this, so oh well. So I'm just going to give this influence as well. I like to just go as one or none, essentially, but you don't have to do that with your weights. Nope, still have the head. Just gonna check that. That's good enough. I could probably have more. But basically what you can do to test to see what you're painting is accurate is you click on the bone in the pose mode, and then you go back to your weight paint, and it will be the last selected bone you have. Okay, I don't really like that. I'm gonna undo that. So basically, now if I want to move on to the body, I'm just gonna go to object mode, click on that bone, click back to the body, weight paint, and now it's got this selected, so if I move it, this thing is going crazy. So I'm just gonna remove all color, all influence from it. Okay, it's... Oh man, at this point it probably would have been easier to just manually paint it than to automatic. But no matter. I mean, I'm no pro at this, but... Oh, whoops. Oh. For now, just get all of this to work. You technically don't even need to give the hip bones any influence since they're merely placeholders. So now if I move this, ooh. Something still has good amount of grip on this. Okay, we're getting there, but still have some weirdness going on. Maybe it might be easier to work from the extremities first and then get to the body. Start with the feet. Oops. So this is what tends to take up most of the time of like rigging, is just fixing all this. Because setting the bones is pretty simple. You just go, okay, I think it should go here, here, and here. But then you have to readjust it. I mean, of course, you can always just do the weight paints yourself instead of trusting the automatic to do it. Because at least in this case, the automatic messed up like really badly. Normally it doesn't. Normally I can trust it enough to work. Something has influence over this. I never fixed that. So right leg. Oh yeah. Oops. So basically, if you ever have geometry folding in on itself, it's more than likely just because something else is trying to work on it. Ooh. Foot still has some influence over on this leg. Oh, it's weird. It like detaches. Still has some. There we go. So the right foot, for the most part, is working out, though. Should probably delete, or not delete, but remove a little bit of influence from it. Ooh, that's not. Oh, this did not join properly. Oh no, I guess I never booleaned them. That's really weird. And this is why booleans are very nice to have, because that way you don't have to reach inside your model to get to some colors you, or like to get to some paints that you didn't need to do, because it's inside the model, and that's just very annoying to deal with. You just want to click at the vertices. So now, okay, no, that's still not. Oh, that's. Oops. Okay, for the most part, the foot is now like bending how I'd imagine it to, except something is still gripping it. Did it not? Oops. Just go over it again just to make sure this all worked out. There we go. So now you can see when it moves, nothing else is moving with it. So now this bone is the only bone that has full control over this part of the body. Probably for the next workshop, because I'm definitely not going to finish fixing this whole model in time. We'll probably just animate like a square or something, like just extrude on a square enough to make like a worm or something. That's something we can easily animate. In fact, let's just set that up now, because this is going to take too long. So we can easily set this up in a matter of seconds. So we just open up a new file, and then with this thing, oops. Oops. This is the front. Oops. So I'm just going to extrude a couple times. E and then Y to make sure it's level. And there we go, I have this thing. So now let's try to do what we did before and add an armature. Gotta do the X-ray again. So now, which way is the front? Is that the front? Let's see. Ooh, no, that is the back. There we go. I'm just gonna extrude. Oops. I'm just gonna parent it. Wrong way. There we go. Ooh, that's not going the way I... Oh, that's close. Well, we can fix this real fast. Did I just... Okay, no, I didn't undo that. We can just quickly fix it in the weight paint. Oh, that's the wrong bone. Or maybe I did have the right bone. Just all that. Oops, wrong button. Okay, so now let's see if this will work. Yeah, there we go, this will do. Let's see, we still have some time. I guess I could probably just go into the basics of animating. So, cause like once we have an actual rig, it'd been a lot more interesting with the little person guy because we could do a lot more expressive actions. But fixing that is gonna be a nightmare. Maybe the next time I teach this, I might make a model already and just have it people download it. That might be easier. Or maybe just for the next workshop, I just fix up the other model and then just put it on the Discord or something. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing that. But I guess with what little time we have, well, 10 minutes is still a good amount of time, but I'll just quickly go over animation. Or I guess if you have any questions about the previous parts. Okay. Because I realized I didn't stop for any breaks, honestly. So what you can do is in the top corner you can pull a new screen, or if you want you can grab it and pull it to the right to delete a screen. But this is helpful for when you're doing, you have to do like animation, because then you can pull up trusty old dope sheet and you get this big old mess. So what this is, it's recording the progress of the entire animation. It's basically what you have on the bottom screen, like on the bottom part. Because this is just another window. You can change this to another model if you like to the same model. Just another view of it. You can just open up screens anywhere you like on this. Pull this back down and change this back to the timeline. Okay, so if you ever want to save an animation, so oops. So I'm just going to click on all the bones, and at frame 0 I'm just going to lock it in. You click I to insert a keyframe, and it gives you all these different options for your changes. So you can do, if you change its location, change its rotation, or change its scaling, and then just any combination. I tend to just go with all 3 just in case if I need to change it in the future. And you will see all of our options here on the side, or all of our bones that we've chosen to animate. I'll set this frame 0. So basically I'm just going to create a simple animation. Let's grab this, rotate it up a bit, rotate this up a bit, rotate this up a bit, and then on all of them, hit I. Oops, undo that. Forgot to change what frame. I don't want it to take 50 frames for that to happen. Let's just have it happen in 10 frames. Okay, let's do that again. Rotate up, rotate up, rotate up. Bam. So you'll notice once you do that, an orange line shows up on the bone side, but that's because when you set your keyframe, nothing changed between this frame and the next frame. So it's just telling you, oh, nothing changed during this time. The other ones don't have that because they changed. So now what we can do is just hit play down here, and there we go. It just moves up. So what we can do, let's just have this loop. So you can also just click on these nodes on the dope sheet, and then same with what you've done before, you can hit G to move them, or you can hit S to scale them. It's more like scaling is more for if you grab multiple and you just want to shorten the time between all of them. You can scale it down or scale it up. So what we can do is just grab all of the animations. You can just click on any of the 3 options up here. You go down to key, oops, and then just copy keyframes. Click on that, and then wherever you want to paste them. So I'm going to paste them at frame 20. You just drag the little green line to frame 20, and then you paste it. And now you have the exact copy there. So now, set it back to 0, I click play, it'll go up and then go back down. You can also change how much of the animation is being played at a time by setting the start and end frames of the animation. So let's just set this to 20, just within the bounds of our animation. If I do this, it's just going to loop forever, it folding up and down. And that's just a basic animation right there. There's also, I can quickly talk about this, the action editor, because what we're doing is just messing with the dope sheet. If we want to actually organize a whole list of our animations, we want the action editor. It looks basically the same. In all honesty, you probably shouldn't use the dope sheet and just rely on the action editor, because then here you have a list of actions. So let's just call this flop. It's basically flopping. And that'll be a saved animation. I can then create a new action. I'm just going to call this move. Delete the current animation I have set in here. And I'm just going to mess with it. I'm just going to have it move up. Let's have it V up. Save that. Key, copy frames, paste frames, and now you have this animation instead. It was only a 10 frame animation, so let's, oops, I typed in 20 again. So now you get this weird thing. Oops. But you'll notice our previous animation still exists. So this is how you can create completely separate animations but still keep them organized. Because now I know, oh, this is the move animation, this is the flop animation. So very nice. Took me forever to learn that. And it's so much more helpful, especially once you start porting these models to Unity, because then the people in Unity will have all the animations laid out for them. They just need to code when each animation happens. So they don't have to manually split it for you. So you can save them time. And I guess that's all I'll talk about for this workshop. If there's anything you want to ask, you can ask me.
I'm kind of interested in figuring out how to do it with texture maps, but I'm probably figuring out
Yeah, I think I was actually gonna ask like, oh, should I do armatures or textures this week? But then I was like, I guess I'll just go over armatures. But yeah, next week I'll go over textures. Cause that I feel like is a lot easier than animating. Cause at least probably should have done texturing first, then do a two-parter on animating. Cause that, especially with what was going on with the other model, like I'll just save this. Call it block. But you can go back to boy. Nope, that's okay though. I guess I can show this one real fast. As a little bonus. This is what I did for a previous workshop. I created another little simple guy, but it looks a lot nicer than the other guy. And I just applied like a flat wood texture over it. That's why it looks really bad. Because I barely even cut it out. Yeah, like, what is this? There are just lines. I did not cut this at all. It's just weird, but ooh.
So you can take the image and then select which pieces of it to map onto the mesh.
Yeah, because this is you can just upload whatever image you like and it'll cover. You cut out pieces of this, and then you just kind of lay it flat. It's as if you're just flattening your entire image, but it's better to you use the seams to cut it out and then just lay them flat.
So then how does that work with like the rounded render or whatever where it rounds the surface?
Oh, you mean?
That interact with texture?
I'm not entirely sure because like we can. Let's put back the texture on it. Do smooth, and you see it just kind of like the actual texture itself isn't affected.
Well, it can't just like the lighting or whatever. Instead of having all those like lighting edges, it just looks like a flat texture.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably stop the recording. Whoa. Okay, that's the end of the workshop. Goodbye, people.